Today, I'm truly honored to have the opportunity to sit down with Christine Hutter, the CEO and founder from Moritz Grossmann. Moritz Grossmann is a renowned brand in German watchmaking. With its exceptional craftsmanship and luxury timepieces, this brand became more and more popular in a collector community. So first, how does Moritz Grossmann position itself within the German watchmaking industry?
So first of all, thank you very much, Eric.
Yeah,
it's a pleasure to be invited here. I think you have a lot of brands in Germany, smaller brands, but the mecca of watchmaking is in Glashütte. It's based in Glashütte, and in Glashütte you find 9 companies.
Yeah.
And I think we are all a little bit different, but I would say Moritz Grossmann, the goal is what I said before. We would like to have the highest craftsmanship, but we do all craftsmanship in a very traditional way. So we work not on the machines that we chamfer the edges in a CNC machine with a diamond. It's all really done by hand, and I think what is very special is the in-house production of our hands, because each hand will be single-wise by one person polished, the bushing separate, and we need 6 to 8 hours for the production of 3 hands for one watch. And also the color, perhaps you know, we choose the brown-violet hue, and that's not easy because it's a very short phase in annealing where you reach this color, and each single hand will be annealed single-wise and not in an oven where you can put more. It's really craftsmanship.
Yeah, I know. So when we're talking about the German watchmaking, normally we'll think about the 3/4 plate and swan neck.
Swan neck.
Yeah, swan neck, and hand engraved balance cock, things like that. But however, Moritz Grossmann takes the art of craftsmanship into another different level. So I think that's amazing. So could you tell us more about the craftsmanship and the uniqueness and the innovation of Moritz Grossmann?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
It's a very nice compliment. Yeah, we tried still from the beginning really to reach a very high level. And I think Moritz Grossmann, the name has really the worth to reach this level. And we worked hard, and we train our employees 6 to 12 months to reach the level. It's really another step. And as you already said, normally in Glashütte you use the 3/4 plate. We decided to go back a little bit to the view of the pocket watches of Moritz Grossmann, and we wanted not copy pocket watches to bring it in wristwatches. We wanted to take heritage of Moritz Grossmann and to transfer it to the 21st century into a wristwatch. So we decided to use also a 2/3 plate, which Grossmann often used. It's the line, the bow, the line. It's also the sign in our logo. And we made a pillar movement. And then we decided to use the micrometer screw for the regulation, for the adjustment of the watch, which Grossmann used very often. And we have our chateaux are raised. And not inside of the plate. And
white stone?
Yes, we have white sapphire stones. We have the engraving on the anchor and balance cock, but we also do a hand engraving on the plate, all letters, Moritz Grossmann, and how many stones are in the movement. It's all really hand engraved, and for the hand engraving we didn't want to color it. You can color machine engraving easily, but I didn't want that we cover it. You really should see how the tool of the engraver goes into the material, and that was why we decided to use only 4 stripes. So our Glashütte ribbing is a little bit different.
Wider.
And it's wider, yes. We only have 4. And also if you look at our ratchet wheel or crown wheel, I think nobody is doing this work, but between the teeth of the wheel, we polish them.
Wow,
so
that's amazing.
each part is really polished, and these all by hand with wood, with different material. And yeah, it's a lot of time what we invest really into the movement.
So everything on the movement are hand engraved?
Yes, everything.
Wow, that's amazing. Today you have presented us the new BENU Power Reserve with incredible salmon dial. So could you tell us a little bit about this watch? Why it's so unique?
Yeah, for us it's we have a very good sell-out with the Power Reserve. And the demand in the market was again for steel pieces. And then we thought, okay, we do something a little bit more modern. We have a BENU line, a heritage, and a contemporary line.
Yeah.
And then we said, okay, the Power Reserve is heritage line, but let's make two faces. So one is the modern color. It looks a little bit contemporary.
Yeah.
And the blue hands, the blue line in the Power Reserve, and the blue strap, and blue hands. And otherwise, if you turn it around and you look at the movement, you have a traditional craftsmanship in the movement. And these both combines a very nice piece. It's a limited edition of 50 pieces, what we will do. And we launched it 2 days ago in Taipei.
Yeah.
And today in Taichung, it's nice, really, we could introduce it to some watch collectors. And it's special. The Power Reserve has the pusher system, which is unique at Moritz Grossmann. It's a special system which we developed between setting time and winding mechanism.
The Grossmann winder with pusher.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit more about this?
It's very easy. If you take out your crown, our crown goes immediately back to the case.
Yeah.
And inside the system changes and you can set the time. So this crown is back to the case. So humidity cannot come inside.
Yeah.
And afterwards, normally in a watch, if you push the crown after setting time back, it happens very, very often that the minute hand is fluttering a little bit. And then you have to take the crown out to set the time again. And in our watches, is the crown still on the case, and you only push the button, and then the movement starts to run again, and inside the system change, and you can wind it again.
Yeah.
So it's very useful for each collector and customer, and it's unique, and nothing can happen with the movement, and safe.
Yeah, that's a smart design.
Yeah.
Also inspired by the pocket watch, right?
And a little bit.
A bit.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's a one and only in the watch industry.
Yeah. It's,
wow.
And the next is we have the Power Reserve cut out in the dial, like a line.
Linear display.
Yes, and it's under the dial we have like a disc which is half white, half blue, and it's with a differential gearing connected also to the barrel. And if the watch is fully winded, the line is completely white, and later on it's like a blue bow comes inside. And if the line is completely blue, you know now I have to wind the watch again.
Yeah, and it's easy to read.
So it's very easy to read, and it's another view to show a Power Reserve.
Wow, I love that one.
And I love the combination of the color, the salmon and the blue.
Wow, great. So let's move on to the next timepiece you present today, the BENU tourbillon. Yeah, I've heard you use the human hair as an elastic brush to stop the balance wheel. Your hair, right?
Yes, it's mine.
That's incredible. Can you share with the story behind the unconventional design?
Yeah, it was, our tourbillon is a 3-minute flying tourbillon. And as we developed our first movement, it was my wish that we really try to use a big balance inside. So the balance in our BENU movements is 14.2 millimeter already.
Yeah.
And then we said, okay, if we will use it for the tourbillon, we would like to have a very big carriage. So the carriage is 16.2, and it's like the half of the movement. And the carriage is very big.
Yeah.
So we decided that the carriage turns around in 3 minutes, not in 1 minute. and it's flying, so no bridges on it. And it was also my wish that perhaps we could do a second stop in the tourbillon. And there are not too many tourbillons with a second stop in the market.
Yeah.
And then you have to look, because a lot of patents are already existing, what you can do. And suddenly that idea came up. We can do it in a way like a watchmaker is working every day. If you look at the balance and look that the balance with the spiral is going flat, the watchmaker uses a circle, you put the balance between, and then you have a brush and you touch the balance, it's turning around, so you see if it's flat or not, and you also stop the balance again with the brush. And then we thought, hey, we use it every day, why do we not use it in the movement? And our watchmaker then tried a brush with artificial hair. It didn't work, because if the carriage is, you have to touch the balance and not the carriage, the arm of the carriage to stop a tourbillon. And if the carriage is exactly in this position, so the artificial hair goes beside, but it never goes back in the original shape. Then we use dog hair, we used cat hair, but it has been too slim and not enough power in the hair. And then one day we had a production meeting and all guys have been sitting around, and then we really discussed what we can do, how we could find a way. And then suddenly I made a joke and I said, hey, tomorrow morning I go to my hairdresser, and if he will cut my hair, I will bring it to you, and then we can try if my hair is working for this. Really, I did it as a joke, everybody looked at me. But I did it. The next day I came and I brought the hair to the prototype department, and then they tested it, and a few weeks later they came in and they said, hey Christine, it's working. And I said, hey, fantastic. And now we have the first movement with real human hair inside. Yeah. Normally you never wish hair into a movement. Yeah. And I said, we also can customize it. And we have it very often that customers, collectors are sending us the hair of the father, mother, son, and then we put a special one inside, and we really make the brush with the hair of this special person, and we can customize the watch as a unique piece to them.
Wow, that's so unique.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. So the customer finally can have their DNA in the watch.
Yeah, they can do it. But the tourbillon you have seen today,
there
is blonde hair inside, that's mine.
It's yours?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, only in a prototype, right?
Yeah, it's a...
Oh, okay, otherwise you will lose your hair.
Yeah.
In the
but
end,
I think we only produce a small quantity of tourbillons each year, and I think my hair is long enough, so it's fine.
Yeah, interesting. So do you have any plan to launch any new complication?
Yes, we do.
Can you share us something about that?
It's a little bit difficult to talk about new developments. No, what I can say is we are working on a few complications.
Okay.
One complication is in prototyping at the moment, because we miss some watches, of course. I cannot talk now about which kind of complication. We work on a second complication, and we work also on a third movement. So we have three things in the background. No, this year not. This year I think a new movement we will introduce perhaps next year.
Oh,
I think I'm not sure, but I think the time will be not enough for end of the year. Okay. But let's see.
Next year?
Yeah. No, this year the time will be not enough to get the watch ready.
Okay.
But I think next year we will introduce something.
Wow. I hope it's chronograph.
We work really with full power on it.
Sure. Interesting. Lastly, so do you have any plan to launch? You know, the luxury sports watch is quite popular right now. Do you have any plans about this?
It's, as I already told you, about new developments I never will talk, but we discussed it in the team with design and construction and also with production. But what I think, if we would do it, we need a new movement, because our hammer automatic is very special. And I think if we would introduce a sport watch, we need another kind of movement and not the hammer automatic, perhaps with a rotor, and it should be also perhaps a small complication inside, like a date or something, and it should be a different way. But the decision is not done yet, I can say. We are thinking about it.
Please tell us a little bit about the founding background of Moritz Grossmann. And it's 15 years already, so what's the achievement so far?
To talk about our beginning of Moritz Grossmann is I have to go back a little bit, a step backwards in my life. As you perhaps know, I'm a trained watchmaker, and I came up in '96 to Glashütte, but I worked more in marketing and distribution and less on a watchmaking table. And during this time, I recognized the importance of the name of Moritz Grossmann, because he was really one of the 4 famous watchmakers in Glashütte in the 19th century. And I tried with my family together to protect the brand rights. But I moved in 2004 to Switzerland, and I went to the retail business. And then we got, one day came in and we got the letter that we are owner of the brand rights of Moritz Grossmann. And then as a watchmaker, you have a dream or a vision in mind. And for me, it was really the dream to set up something very special again, a real manufactory with the highest craftsmanship and the heritage of Moritz Grossmann. And then friends of mine in Switzerland, they said, okay, if you would like to do it, we will support you also financial-wise. And in November 2008, we started. We established at first a Swiss holding company, and 1 week later, we established in Glashütte the Grossmann GmbH. That was the beginning, but the beginning was really with a letterbox in Glashütte, and I really started to work from a kitchen table in Dresden.
Really?
Yes. And then I set up a business plan, and a few months later, I could rent in opposite of the official house of Moritz Grossmann, where he had his workshop in the 19th century. In opposite, I could rent some rooms, and then I opened a few months later our office. And then half a year later, I got the first employee, and we started with the development and the construction of our caliber 100.0 with the first BENU caliber. And during the same time, we rented another room, and we started to buy the first things to establish a workshop. And then, it was very quickly, we bought a ground. We couldn't find really a good space for Grossmann. Then we bought a ground in Glashütte, and we did a construction for the next years for our new manufactory building, where we are now inside. And in 2010, we could introduce the first BENU, and it was a limited edition with 100 pieces, and we knew that was a crazy time, that we need like 2 or 3 years to produce 100 watches, because the production was different. We could rent at least 4 or 5 floors in the neighbor house, in our house, and there was also space to put the first machines inside, CNC, wire erosion machine. But it was really slowly, but we hired employees, and with the first movement we really set the standard of a Grossmann movement and how it should look like. And it was a very excited time. In 2013 we had the inauguration of our building. And for this time, we introduced the first 3 new timepieces for the collection. It was Power Reserve, our index, and also the first bigger complication, our 3-minute flying tourbillon. Yeah, and if I do now a big step, it's today we are in the 23, and almost in November we get 50 years old. But if I remember, we had like 5 years really development years and establishment, and we went to 14 the first time really in the market with the first pieces. But today we developed around 15 caliber.
Wow.
And we still work on new complications. It needs all time. We are a small team, but I have a fantastic team of 47 persons. And our philosophy is a little bit like Grossmann. He wrote a book in 1880, and the title has been The Construction of a Simple but Mechanical Perfect Watch. And that's really our philosophy, because if you look at our timepieces, they are very classical, but inside and behind is mechanical perfection. So our goal is really, our target is to use the highest style of craftsmanship. We have also the finest hands, I would say. It's all in-house production, and we already think different if we start with the construction of a movement. And yeah, the watches should be also in the movements user-friendly and service-friendly.
Yeah.
And yeah, makes us happy.
Yeah, incredible journey.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was a big journey, and
15 movement, that's amazing.
yeah.
So,
But we still miss some complications.
yeah, for
but
sure.
We are working on it. We have
Yeah,
time.
great, great. So my last question, last but not least, do you personally collect any of Mr. Grossmann's creation? For example, the pocket watch, clocks, or measurement instrument, or
Yes.
even documents?
Yes, we do.
Oh, yeah.
So we do not collect, and we do not want to get a museum in Glashütte, but we own some different pocket watches from him, Savonet, so Anker chronometer. We have some very nice pocket watches, and we also look that we get the original books.
Wow.
Of him, because Grossmann was, you know, he was the initiator of the German watchmaking school in 1878, and he was a person who wanted to give his watchmaking knowledge to other people. And he wrote a lot of books, he translated books, he spoke 4 languages.
Yeah.
And if we can buy some old books from the 19th century, of course we will do it. So if you ever will be in Glashütte in our showroom, we have some showcases, and you can see the, watch,
Wow.
the books and also pocket watches.
Okay, so could you elaborate on Mr. Grossmann's contribution to the German watchmaking? What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, if you go back to the 19th century, it was Adolf Lange. He started in 1845 in Glashütte with the watchmaking, and Moritz Grossmann, he was a friend of Adolf Lange. He was born in Dresden, and he got trained watchmaker in Dresden, and during this time you went away, you went to other countries to collect knowledge about watchmaking. So he also went to Switzerland, he went to England, to France, and he came back, and in 1854 his friend Adolf said to him, please, could you also come to Glashütte and to open your own workshop? And that's what he did. And but for this time he produced pocket watches, clock watches, measuring instruments, and he passed away very early.
Yeah.
And then the son of Adolf Lange, Emil and Richard Lange, they took later on all the movements, the raw movements of Grossmann, and they finished it and put it in Lange pocket watches. So sometimes today in auctions you find a pocket watch which has the signature under the dial of Grossmann and Lange.
Oh.
So it's great.
Wow, interesting.
And for us it's important because you have 4 important watchmakers in Glashütte. It was Lange, Moritz Grossmann, as Lange started, then Grossmann. It was Julius, Assmann and Schneider.
Yeah.
And if you go today, if you visit the German Watch Museum, directly at the entrance is really the head of Moritz Grossmann, and I think he was an eminent and important watchmaker for the German and glass-hoodie watch industry.
Wow, see. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
Pleasure.
much for your time.
My pleasure, Eric.
Yeah.